Hey guys, how we all going? Um, I've it's probably taken me about the last week to try and run the projections over the three of the older leagues. I've still got a little bit to do in Brave New World, but this one's for a new beginning. I didn't want to make the leagues feel like they've been neglected, so yeah, I just needed some time to get through everything. I had to change the scores over on the projections because there's a little bit of difference in the scoring in the leagues, obviously. So yeah, um, I have got spreadsheets I've made up. I'll put them in the background here and drop my face down, but that you won't be able to read them. It'll be too bloody small. So do what we can. All right, I'm just going to switch this around now. I think that's the one I want. Drop me out. Get out. There we go. And bring me back again. Alright. So, I've done something a little bit different with these ones. This will test everyone's depth a little bit. I did this, I've recently done rankings for our Primetime 2.0 league, and I've done the same thing there. So basically on offense and defense, I've added two extra players to the scoring for the overall points, just to expose people's depth a little bit. I think it gives a little bit truer indication of how strong a team is or isn't. So anyway, here goes. First team is my own. Sadly, this team's a bit of a disaster. So, yeah, look, I've got one start quarterback, and he'd probably only start for about maybe half the season if I'm lucky, and that's Jacoby Brissett. I've got nothing else at quarterback. Both my taxi squad quarterbacks are either injured or not going to play this year anyway. So, yeah, no, look, I'm not going to spend too much time on this team. It's crap. The offense is crap. Probably the few bright lights: Bijan Robinson and Alvin Kamara supposed to go right this season. DJ Moore. That's pretty much where the conversation ends. Offensive points. Projected offensive points, we're looking at 103.42. Defensively, it's still a pretty solid defense, but just the team's in a bad way. Jonathan Allen projected starter with Leonard Williams, Daniil Hunter, Matt Judon at defensive end, Frankie Levy, CJ Mosley, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. All as I did say him. Yeah, all as contributors at linebacker. Kyler Gordon, Tradea, and Tyreek Stevenson are the top-rated corners, and Julian Blackman, Amani Hooker. We've got Taylor Rapp, probably the main starting safeties by the look of it. So, yeah, look, if you're looking for pieces, I'm probably open to selling most of what I've got sitting there. So, yeah. Overall defensive scores 209.27 for a total score of 312.69. All right. Fabian, two Magoons. All right. Pretty good set of quarterbacks at Dak Prescott and CJ Stroud. Then you got Barkley, Jahmyr Gibbs, DeAndre Swift. Savani Williams could be alright this season. I don't know. It depends on whether there's anything left there. Then you got Deontay Johnson, Devontae Smith, Courtland Sutton, Jameson Williams. Reckons he's leading the league in touchdowns and receiving yards this year. That'll be interesting. Dalton Kincaid on offense. Pretty solid offense. I wouldn't say the deepest offense in the world. Actually, that was something he was probably missing, was a little bit of depth across the whole team, to be honest. Uh, as you can see, like what with 39 players or something. That's yeah, it's pretty shallow. Um, defensive tackles, yeah, probably Vita Vea, probably the highest graded one. Then you got Aiden Hutchinson, Jalen Phillips. Phillips actually looks like he's probably going to play week 1, which is impressive. Jordan Brooks, Tremaine Edmonds, Patrick Queen, Jack Thompson can even be a pretty solid fill-in for linebacker. Dante Jackson, Delmador Lenore, Keyshawn Nixon, probably your main corners. And Jesse Bates, Von Bell, Jabril Peppers, Marcus Williams, Donovan Wilson could probably all play a little bit too. So solid defense without being spectacular. 175-55 overall defensive score, 161-73 overall offensive score for a 337.28 overall score to get all together. And yeah, as I said, I'd 2 extra offense, 2 extra defense I added to these scores, which made it a little bit different to what I did with Rip and Time. So, like I said, it was mainly just to expose some depth, which, man, this, yeah, no, I'll touch on it at the end. Alright, man, looks like, so, Byron's got 2 quarterbacks at the moment, Daniel Jones and Matt Stafford. Aiden O'Connell could see some time this year. Freaking Joe Flacco might see some time. We've got to see whether Richardson can actually stay on the field yet. So, Rashad White, Zamir White, probably your main 2 running backs. You're probably hoping Deontay Foreman really doesn't come into your equation, but no. Then what you got? Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel. That's it. Very, very, very shallow receiver room. Very good receiving room. But yeah, very shallow. And George Kittle as your starter at tight end. Dulcich might have a solid season. Who knows with Michael Mayer, with Brock Bowers getting there, Mayer's involvement in the offense might not be all that strong. Who knows? And it might be too. I don't know if they've got the quarterback situation to sustain 2 tight ends, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Only time will tell. Alright, defensively, Deron Payne grades out as your starter at tackle. Defensive ends, Joey Bosa and Max Crosby. Little bit of depth around that with Trayvon Walker, Malcolm Kuntz, AJ Epinesa could all have somewhat solid seasons. Just bumped the keyboard, wiped out my thing there. Alright. Linebackers, Terrell Bernard and Demario Davis, you'd be your starters, and Divine Diablo and Blake Cashman could chip in. Oh, sorry guys. I'll get out of bed, so 4:20 a.m. here, so. CBs, Kenny Moore and Shavarius Ward are your primary starters. Kevin Byard, Kirby Joseph, Tyron Matthew, Jason Pinnock, and Justin Reed, probably your main safeties. Jordan Howden could possibly be a producer this year too. Offensively overall, you grade out with a 148.98. Defensively, 205.72 for a 354.7 overall score. Alright. Golden Age Gladiators, Jake. Pretty solid quarterback room with Jordan Love, Patrick Mahomes, as well as Derek Carr as a backup. Then what do you got? Josh Jacobs, Reem Mostert, Isaiah Pacheco, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, T. Higgins, Terry McLaurin as your probably primary offensive weapons. Tight end, you've got Dallas Goedert. Zach Ertz might be able to provide some depth there. So defensively, DeForest Buckner's your great as your starter at tackle. Solid depth with Javon Hargrave and Harrison Phillips. Defensive ends, you got Myles Garrett, Khalil Mack. Hoping for something out of Chase Young. Cameron Jordan might provide some depth there too. Linebacker, Nick Bolton, Robert Spillane, Kenneth Murray, Bobby Wagner, Logan Wilson. So pretty good depth through linebacker. Cornerback, Kendall Fuller, Deontay Banks, and Benjamin St. Juste. Probably your starters, probably. Greg Newsome, maybe. Then Buda Baker, Minka Fitzpatrick, Rashawn Jenkins, and Xavier McKinney. Four pretty good safety, so yeah. Offensively, 162.46. Defensively, 214.96 for a 377.42 overall grade. Oh, yeah, right. Bismarck Demons. This is Aaron's team. Yeah, Aaron's in a world of hurt like myself, actually. Definitely needs some love on the roster to pick up some try and pick up some depth. Although most of the depth has pretty much been picked up for the most part. So there was always players that sneak through, but definitely needs to attack that waiver wire early. Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson at quarterback. That would be it. Kenneth Murray, Tyler Boyd, Jerry Jeudy, George Pickens, Calvin Ridley, Khalil Shakir, Garrett Wilson. All good offensive weapons. And Cole Kmet as your lone tight end on your roster. Defensively, it's pretty ugly, to be honest. I really struggled to even find. Actually, there you go. I've really struggled to find players. Yeah, it's not even worth reading through too much, man. EJ Speed, probably Harrison Smith, Jonathan Cooper, probably your standouts on defense. But yeah, you need to put a lot of love into this defense. Yeah, it needs a lot of help. Offensively, graded out 139.55, which is solid. Not spectacular, but solid. 116.88 on defense for a 256.43 overall grade. But yeah, you definitely need some work on this team. All right. Angel of Death, which is Jared. So Sam Darnold, Gardner Minshew, is he starting quarterbacks? If you told somebody that and thought they might win some games this year, everyone would be laughing at you. But they'll both be solid veteran quarterbacks. They're not going to lead the league in touchdowns or anything like that, but still guys that could go out there and give you 15 to 20 points a week. So. Derrick Henry, Devin Singletary, Jonathan Taylor, Jalen Warren, Jan Dotson, Wan'Dale Robinson. You definitely need some love at wide receiver there, man. You got some players there. I just don't know if they're going to turn into much of anything. Tyler Conklin and Dawson Knox on at tight end. Both solid tight ends. It'll be interesting to see what Knox does this year. I predict Dalton Kincaid will actually have a pretty good season. So, Although Josh Allen will typically spread the ball around pretty well. So defense. Ed Oliver, Jeffrey Williams, Jeffrey Simmons Williams. My God. Josh Allen Hines, or Hines Allen, however you want to say it. Andrew Van Ginkel, Alex Anzalone, Jordan Hicks, N'Kobe Dean pops up in your points there, but I don't know. Quay Walker's alright, linebacker as well. Yeah, I don't know, it'd be interesting to see whether how much time N'Kobe Dean gets on the field, whether he can stay healthy at all. I mean, that was a problem coming into the league too, so that's why he dropped so far in the draft. He was basically playing with nothing holding his knees, holding them together. So, yeah, he might the NFL career might not be the longest. CBs, Paulson Adebo and Christian Gonzalez. Derek Stingley Jr. pops up as a potential starter as well. Safeties definitely need some help. You got Jalen Petrie and Jordan Fuller. Deshaun Elliott might be useful too, but yeah, that's probably about where it ends. Overall on offense, 122.18. Defensively, 183.62. For a total score of 305.80. Alright, the Down Under Hooligans. Joey. Alright, pretty solid at quarterback, even though there is only two of them, Herbert and Rodgers. James Cook, Christian McCaffrey, Joe Mixon at running back. Devontae Adams, Brandon Cooks, Cooper Kupp. Josh Reynolds might be useful this year. I'm not a believer in Juju at all, really. Adam Thielen. It's probably your main offensive weapons there. And TJ Hawkinson and David Njoku would be your tight ends. Oh, that went down the wrong way. Alright. Water with bones in it. Alright. Oh, man. Defensively. I don't even know what he's changed his name to, but I'm still going to call him Justin Matabuke for this episode. Christian Wilkins also great as defensive tackle starters. Boya Mafe and Kayvon Thibodeau as your main defensive ends. Leonard Floyd and Reddick, if he ever actually joins and plays for the Jets, would be useful too. Then you got Tyrell Dodson, Eric Kendricks, Quincy Williams, Alex Singleton as your linebackers. J.C. Horn and Zion McCollum as your CBs. And Jeremy Chin, Quandre Deeks could be useful too. Kyle Duggar and Justin Simmons. Pretty solid team, Joey. I think you need some depth, man. When injuries and bye weeks kick in, and the bye weeks are definitely coming, and it's very probable the injuries will too. It's going to cause some issues, I think. 164.69 offense. On defense, 185.42 for an overall score of 350.11. The Crusaders, Mike Gold. What do we got here? Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, and Geno as a backup. That's pretty good. Devon Achen, Zach Moss, Ramondre Stevenson as your main running backs. Jerome Ford could chip in, especially now. Like Nick Chubb looks like I've seen the videos of him squatting a very large weight. It's not just that strength, man. His speed's got to come back too. So AJ Brown, Stephon Diggs, Chris Godwin, DK Metcalf, Mike Williams would be a solid option as another receiver while he's healthy too. So, and Greg Dortch could chip in too. The Cardinals' offense should be pretty solid this year. Travis Kelce at tight end. There's a little bit of love around for Parkinson and Gesicki as well. So defensively, I can see Chris Jones as your DT. He's probably easily your main one there. Jermaine Johnson and Gregory Rousseau and TJ Watt as your starters. Jadeveon Clowney should be solid. Rashawn Gary should be solid. And Jason Oweh should be solid too. So, yeah, you're pretty good depth through defensive end. Linebackers, Domain Clark and Ernest Jones as your starters. Dwan Bentley could provide some depth there too. And Jerome Baker. Sorry, missed him. Oh, I said Bentley as a starter. Yeah, right. So Dwan Bentley. Oh well, he's probably not a starter. He's probably the fringe defensive player that made the cut. So CBs, Tyson Campbell, Brandon Stevens, Martin Emerson's pretty solid too. Brandon, that's it. AJ Terrell, Tariq Woolen. They'll all put up points for. CBs are what they are. Not very useful. Cameron Curl, Richie Grant, Brandon Jones, Jordan Whitehead, all great as your starters. Kayvon Wallace could be useful. We'll see. He'll definitely be amongst the rotation in Seattle. So, offensively, 170.98. Defensively, 195.51 for an overall score of 366.49. Cleveland, my old mate Devo. Lamar Jackson as your quarterback and your one and only quarterback, apparently. Travis Etienne, Najee Harris, Aaron Jones as your running backs. Wide receivers. Kendrick Bourne, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Watson. They're actually all solid. Just haven't got that. Nico's probably in that discussion for one of the big name receivers there. Tight end, Kate Otten is your starter probably. Daniel Bellinger might have a useful season, but yeah. Just continues the trend. There's a lot of teams with not a lot of depth anywhere. Defensively, Zach Allen grades out as your starter. So Diggy Zua could be a solid backup for you too there. Trey Hendrickson and Michael Parsons at defensive end. Shannon Owasu should be solid, and Anthony Jennings probably will be solid once Owasu gets back from injury. Darrell Taylor could be solid too. Probably just a pass rush guy for the Bears. TJ Edwards, Zoe Franklin, and Bobby Okereke, three very good linebackers. Josie Jewell could provide some depth with Cody Barton. They're probably pretty similar players. And Denzel Perryman too. Nick Morrow scores, but he's not a good player. Jamel Dean, Trayvon Diggs, Russell, Douglas, what do we got? Marlon Humphrey, and Dax Hill, all pretty solid corners. Oh, and Cam Taylor-Britt. Safety, what do you got there? Jordan Poyer and Jalen Thompson, great out as your starters. Jimmy Ward, Xavier Woods, Nick Cross, Brian Cook maybe. Probably provide some depth. Offensively, you're great out with 136.78. Defensively, 212.22. Overall score of 349 points. Alright. Noah's Genesis, guys. Let me just have a look at something here. Alright. He won the league a couple of years ago. Oh, yeah. Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson as your starters at quarterback. Kirk Cousins. Yeah, see, this is where the hate for Kirk Cousins sort of kicks in. There's no way in the world anyone starting Russell Wilson over Kirk Cousins. My fucking God. But he didn't grade out at all well this off season. Either they're predicting him to either lose the job, which I'd be stunned if the Falcons want to pay him $40 million a year to sit on the sideline, or everyone's just predicting another injury. I don't know. It's strange. Anyway, you got three starting quarterbacks. I don't know how long Russ will be starting for, but you got Justin Fields there too. They'll probably swing backwards and forwards between each other for the season. So James Conner, David Montgomery as your running backs. Brandon Ayuk, Hollywood Brown, DJ Chark could be useful. Jacoby Myers, Josh Palmer could be useful. Curtis Samuel should be useful. Amon-Ra St. Brown. And there's a little bit of buzz around Jalen Tolbert again. I remember there was a fair bit of buzz around him as a rookie, and we did absolutely nothing. So he's into his third season now, so hopefully for him and Dallas fans, he does step up and actually be productive this year. Hunter Henry, Pat Frymouth. Pat Frymouth would be your starter at tight end. Hunter Henry provides some depth. Defensively, you got Derek Brown at DT. Yeah, definitely great out as your starter. Defensive ends, you got Jonathan Grenard, Alex Highsmith, Harold Landry, Montez Sweat, all pretty solid defensive ends. Dorrance Armstrong can provide some depth. Marcus Davenport may provide some depth. I don't know. But he's a guy that's always promised to score well and never delivered. Well, not very often anyway. So linebackers, Roquan Smith, definitely a starter. Devin Lloyd could provide some depth. Pete Werner maybe. They re-signed him, so. CBs, Trent McDuffie, Byron Murphy, Jalen Ramsey, Alontae Taylor, probably all your main starters. And safety, who knows, Jamal Adams might be useful. Just depends on what role he's going to play for him, I guess. Reed Blankenship, Chuck Clark, Javon Holland, Derwin James, Ifeatu Melifonwu, and Antoine Winfield. Very deep safety room. 145.73 overall on offense and 219.92 on defense for a 365.65 overall grade. One of the better teams in the league. Alright. Got a feeling this was the case last year too, actually. But here's another pretty strong team. Three really good quarterbacks: Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, and Brock Purdy. That's a strong quarterback room. Running backs, you got Breece Hall, Kyron Williams, probably your main guys you'll use, with Tony Pollard as a solid backup. Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb. It's pretty good receivers there. You don't have to go much further. Chris Olave, Jalen Waddle, with probably Darnell Mooney as your main backup in amongst those. Trey McBride and Kyle Pitts at tight end. You got Dalton Schultz there as well. Like, it's a pretty stacked offense, man. That'll be, that's off to a pretty damn good start. You got not an insane amount of depth because once again it seems to be a recurring theme across the league. Defensively, Ashawn Robinson is your DT probably. Nick Bosa, Brian Burns, Bryce Huff, Kwity Paye, all useful defensive ends at least useful. Obviously Bosa is much better than useful, but linebackers, which is a position you quite often like to fill up on. You actually haven't gone that strongly here in it. Foy Lucon, obviously, definitely a starter at linebacker. Kaiser White probably grades out as your next best one. Drew Tranquil, Willie Gay, maybe Jamin Davis, I don't know. Might be able to provide some depth. CBs, you got Kristen Fulton, Roger McCreary. Hey, your CBs, actually, that's all you got. So I guess they're your starters. Safeties, Jaquan Brisker if he ever gets onto a football field. Cameron Bynum, Grant Delpit, CJ Gardner-Johnson. DeMar Hamlin looks like he's going to have a role, and Geno Stone could do too. So solid depth at safety. Overall offensive score for 187.41 and defensively 208.91 for a total score of 396.32. Like I said, another really strong team. All right, last team in the league. The second law, Perry. All right, Josh Allen, Tua Tagovailoa as your starters. That's at quarterback, and that's it. But if you've got two, you've done well in this league because not many teams have even got two. Anyone that's got three is doing really, really freaking well. Jamar Chase, who fucking knows? I'm over this shit. Although apparently he's back at practice in a uniform today. Just as long as Taylor doesn't say that he's going to play, we should be good. Maybe that won't hurt his ego too much to actually turn up and go to training and maybe even play a fucking game. Who knows? Christian Kirk, Tyler Lockett, Drake London, Puka Nacua, Michael Pittman, Rashid Shaheed all provide pretty good wide receiver depth. Mark Andrews, Evan Ingram, Jake Ferguson, Chika Conquo, Johnny Smith. If anyone needs a tight end, Perry probably has one that he could move. He's never going to use all those guys. Defensively, so it's just three really good DTs. Zach Sealer, Kobe Turner, Quinton Williams. Obviously, Big Q's his starter. Defensive ends, Carl Granderson, Sam Hubbard, George Karloftis. Probably not the strongest set of defensive ends, just solid. Aziz Al-Shaair, Levante David, Caden Ellis, Fred Warner, Devin White, all very good, solid linebackers. And CBs, probably DJ Reed, L'Jarius Sneed, Taron Johnson as your main options there. Safeties, we got what? Well, Marcus Epps. We got Kyle Hamilton, Tolano Funga, Julian Love, Josh Metellus, with Epps, Gilman, probably providing the depth. Overall, what do you got? Offense 174.58, defense 216.31 for an overall grade of 390.89. All right, the overall standings. So, Spirit Bears. Spirit's team grade out as the number one team in the league. Just ahead of Perry. I think probably those teams there I've highlighted. So Spirit Bears, Second Law, Golden Age Gladiators, Crusaders, and Noah Genesis guys. I think they're a step ahead of everyone. I don't really think. I could be wrong, man, but I don't really think the winner of the league comes outside of that group. But the disparity between teams in this league, like, it's nuts. I thought my team was atrocious, and it very well could be by the time the season finishes, and I've traded away parts that aren't useful to me. But man, there seems to be a really big gap in this league that hasn't existed so far in the other leagues. Maybe it's just because of the timeline we're on, but Endgame is much closer, and you'll see that when I do the breakdown for it. But once again, this is just projections. No one has a clue how the season's going to go. But guess what? We are just over 24 hours away from kickoff, and we're back at it, baby. Can't wait to see the Bears get out on the field. Can't wait to see some decent football again. The off season feels like it goes forever. So, good luck to everyone, and please don't take any of what I've said here personally. It's a bit of fun, and maybe, and for the most part, I'm literally just trying to point out where some people might need to pay some attention to their rosters. I mean, the salary cap constraints and stuff can cause a problem, but yeah, some people don't want to win either. So there is definitely a reward sometimes to sucking it up for a couple of years and try and rebuild the roster through the draft. So, all right. Thanks for watching. If you do, guys, very much appreciated. And once again, good luck to the season. Can't wait for it all to start. Thanks,